Introducing Speechula, the most natural sounding tech.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I do think I'm live. And if I'm not, then nothing will happen. So I just want to say, for those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Gracias, merci, grazie, danke, bedankt, obrigado, spasiba. What is thank you in your language? Tak. In Greece, evcharistopoli. Evcharisto. Toda, shukran. Arigato. She'eh, she'eh. So many ways we can say thank you. And there are thank yous in many languages. There's a thank you of the spoken language, and there's a thank you of the body language. And there's a thank you of the eyes, and a thank you in your smile. Just letting everybody come in, because I think that the internet's just having a little wobbly. It's getting overwhelmed with the number of thank yous coming in. So the energy is hotting up. I think you'd have to be half asleep if you didn't notice that just as the eclipses have begun, November the 19th, just the time when Austria announced that it was going to go with lockdowning the unvaccinated and everybody else to go freer. And then a couple of days later, complete lockdown. And there've been lots and lots of demonstrations. Are we back? I'm unfrozen. I'm unfrozen. Everybody's telling me I'm frozen. I'm back. I was just in that time thanking and saying thank you that we had the internet for the time that we had it. So as I've said for quite a few months now, there is a good chance that there will be power cuts, internet cuts, cuts to supplies. But I think many of them will not be necessarily very long. Uranus sort of does things quickly. We had a power cut yesterday for a few hours, but okay. So things are choppy. There's a choppiness to life at the moment. And it's almost as if you can't settle down for very long. I feel like one of those dogs that's going around in his basket and he can't quite find the spot. You know, when they go in circles until they land. I have that feeling of a little bit going round in circles sometimes and landing for a short period and then having to keep moving again. So I think there's this energy of needing to keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. That is the message. So we're building up to a lot of aspects coming up in December, and I will cover December soon, but I wanted to we're in between eclipses. We've had the eclipse on November 19th, which triggered a lot of revolts and rebellions and anger and frustration. And we're building up to that square of Saturn and Uranus on the 24th of December. We've got the solstice on the 21st. We've got another eclipse on the 4th. There's just a lot of things that we are dealing with. I wouldn't look for calm, Joe Boo. I really wouldn't look for that. I would look for what are the blessings that I've got in my life right now that I'm really grateful for. That's what I would look around at. Not at, oh, this is going wrong. Oh, this is going wrong. But just to center yourself once again is like, what am I grateful for? And there's a lovely story that I read recently, because we've got Mercury in Sagittarius, or going into Sag. And Sagittarius is the storyteller. Okay, they love to wind and weave a beautiful story. So there's about a story about a man who married a beautiful woman. And he really loved her. And she developed a skin disease. And this caused her to lose her beauty. Not long afterwards, the husband had an accident. And he lost his sight. And they stayed together and loved one another, and she took wonderful care of him for many years. She died. And then after the funeral and the rites were done, he got up and started walking, and people looked at him and said, well, we thought you were blind. We thought you couldn't manage without her. He said, no, he said, I was never blind. I just didn't want her to feel so badly that I might not love her anymore if she wasn't beautiful. And I loved her so much that it didn't matter for me. So the message here is, where maybe do we need to act a little blind in order to forgive the shortcomings in the people around us? Just to love the person who they are on the inside rather than on the outside. It's sometimes, we've got so much going on and so many people facing a dark night of the soul. I've never had so many people reaching out to me along different stages of this journey, some very, very desperate. some going through some kind of an awakening. And what I'm seeing is that everyone has to go through their own metamorphosis. It's a change. We are changing. An old system is dying. Pluto in Capricorn, it's in its last flailing degrees of Capricorn. And we're going through a big evolutionary shift, and it's necessary. It's something to be welcomed. When I first went through the channeling, and it's still ongoing, just to let you know, and I've decided that I will begin to share, possibly when I speak with Penny Kelly, who's been through quite some similar experiences. But I will begin to share more of this journey, because I've got a feeling that many of you are going through massive transformation. And it's almost as if you don't know what's hit you sometimes. It's like, whoa, you know, it's a lot. So the old you is dying. The old us is dying. And something new is to be rebirthed. And some of us are in that tunnel. And I'm here to tell you that as dark as that tunnel looks from time to time, and it does, and we have to help one another over it, be blind to one another's shortcomings sometimes. And we're changing the entire program in our computers, right? We've got programming inside of us. I have a program, for example, inside of me, that when I see a police car, I immediately think, oh, what have I done wrong? Okay, it's a program. So we've got all these triggers, and many of you have said, why do people seem to go off the high horse at something so little these days? Well, we've been given a series of shocks. The shock of the pandemic, the shock of the fear, the shock of the distancing, the shock of losing jobs, the shock of losing loved ones. Everything's been like, we've been given repeated electric shock therapy. And this is all to do with being rewired into the new paradigm. So we're being deprogrammed, or we're getting an opportunity to deprogram ourselves and move away from, which is this vertical energy, this authority, knowing better than we know for ourselves. Aquarius is these horizontal lines, yeah? Separate horizontal energy lines, energy. And the energy of the Capricorn energy that we've been working with, and everything to do with Newtonian physics, we're going to find that the books are wrong. We're moving into the quantum field. This is now the new energy field. And we're moving away from the old paradigm of authority telling us what to do and giving our power away to authority that may not be for our highest good. When I was little, if I wasn't feeling well or I had a tummy ache, my mum would take me to the doctor. Doctor knows. But we're moving now to the paradigm, which is much more natural for us, and much more real in terms of the true programming, the true intrinsic being, which is why I think so many of us have felt out of place here on this planet. It's like, what am I doing here? This is such a strange place. Dog eat dog, fight one another, profits, greed, all of that. When in fact, the natural thing to do is to cooperate, to connect, and to work together. So we're working with the energy of Aquarius, which is about your individuality. And Aquarius has to do with becoming awake, the awakened human being. And apparently, according to science, 95% of our lives is not conscious. It's all programmed. It's all what you downloaded in your first 7 years of life, according to Bruce Lipton, who I love, another one of my heroes, wrote about this in The Biology of Belief, in The Honeymoon Effect, some of his books. And we are now moving to work with what is in the field. I won't get into the science of it because it's not my strength. I could explain it, but it's not my forte. So I'll stick to the things that I can do well, and I won't do that. But if you can see that the caterpillar has no idea, I think, I don't know, maybe it does know, that it's going to transform and become a butterfly, something heavy that's ground, you know, feel that this is what we're in, this heavy, stuck on the ground, eating, you know, caterpillars, they eat, yeah, like crazy. And then it becomes this light, flying butterfly. And this is what we're moving towards, but we can't see it whilst we're still in that caterpillar mode. I think there's going to be a lot of movement starting in January of communities beginning to be formed. I know there's already some going, but there's a lot of people been looking for their tribe, looking for a community, looking to see, you know, where is it? Where are my like-minded connections? I think that's going to accelerate as we go into 2022. Yeah, so don't lose heart along that. And connect with those online that you feel connected with. Connect with those that inspire you. We're going to see more miracles, more things beggaring belief. We're in a Sagittarius time, which is time to create some new beliefs, to start thinking beyond the limited thinking that you've had so far. I was listening today to a wonderful interview with, again, Laura Eisenhower, interviewing the miracle, I think he's called the Miracle Man. And he had an accident. He fell 2.5 stories off a building, broke his back, had loads of metal put into his back. It did help him, it saved him to a point, but then he got to the point where he said, I don't want this metal in my back. I don't want to be paralyzed all my life. I need to do something different. And he tried persuading neurosurgeons to take the metal out of his back, which none of them would do. Then he came across the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, another one of my heroes, Dr. Joe, who rebuilt his own back and his own vertebrae through his mind and connecting to the quantum field. And this amazing miracle man, whom all the neurosurgeons said would never walk again, never, never, never. He did all his inner work and his inner training. And he now walks, runs, jogs, does his yoga asanas. And, you know, he's, of course, passing this knowledge on that each of us inside of us have got that ability. We just need to do some work on ourselves. Not saying that it's easy. There is work to be done. But the realm of possibility now for us to reach mastery and to create miracles is bigger than it's been, I think, ever, because we're coming together as this collective. We're going to have to be able to use mind power a lot more effectively together, not to kill one another, not to blow one another up, but to use it. Imagine if we really work together cooperatively as one organism, each having their own special place. Just imagine it. So if there are people who can rebuild their entire nervous system and their vertebrae through deep meditation, being in the field, through intention experiments. Lynn McTaggart recently did an intention group with a Power of 8 group, and somebody who's both their retinas had been, the doctors said that this person was going to lose their sight. And within a couple of intention sessions, this person has 20/20 vision. These are some of the people I'm going to be interviewing over these next weeks. So it's opened my eyes to see that individually and collectively, and the more we do it collectively, we have so much power, so much power. Media stations are going to come down. The frequency of fear won't be able to dominate us. There is so much that's coming with so much potential. And now is the time, because it is in crisis, Uranus square Saturn, that you've got people's attention. Okay, people are like getting off the settee now. They're getting away from the television now. Apparently there were 350,000 people who demonstrated in Vienna. People coming out now. People saying, hey, whoa, stop. Hello. So don't look to go back. Don't look to go back. There is nothing to go back to. We're moving to a completely different Earth. I was told that I was to be a helper for the Earth changes almost, I think it's something like nearly 30 years ago. And at the time, I was like, really? Yeah, I really didn't quite know what this person meant. She went on and on about it for many years. And it's really only been quite recently that I realize now, okay, these are the Earth changes. It's not the ones that were talked about in the year 2000, but these are they. Because now we have an opportunity to really go beyond anything we could have ever imagined before. It takes us to a different place. It's so different. I was told that there were people who came from Switzerland, from Germany, to Vienna, to come and peacefully demonstrate that this was just too much. This was really one step too far, and it was not okay. And apparently some brought their bells, their healing bells, some beautiful big healing bells. And they brought them and they surrounded the demonstration with these bells, sounding these beautiful bells that signify peace and harmony. There's so much we can do with the energies. We're working with energy now. We've been working with matter and material things. And that doesn't mean to say that we're not still working with them, but we're going to see it rather differently. There's going to be so many shifts in the medical field, healers like you've never seen before, medical miracles like we've never seen before. There's just a general upgrading going on. And it may be uncomfortable for a while as we deprogram the things that we've been used to doing. It's like having a divorce, you know, it's not very pleasant. You're divorcing yourself from an entirely old way of life, an old way of being. And if you would have said to me that I would be sitting comfortably in the lotus pose in my mid-60s, if you'd have said that to me when I was 30, I'd have said, not on your Nelly. I'd have laughed you. Well, I'd have laughed at 30 or 40 or 50. Yeah, I'd have just said, no way, because I was always very, very stiff. My body was always, from as young as I can remember, certainly by the age of 7, once all the programming was in, very, very stiff and very frightened. And then I had this awakening, and I will talk more about it because I think there's a lot more people going through similar things now. I went through it just over 6 years ago now. And I'm beginning only now to understand what that was about and what was going on. So there are miracles out there if you will believe that they are possible. Again, it's to do with belief. If you're convinced that you're going to die in the next few weeks, there are people who've been given these, you know, terrible prognosis, and then they do it if they really believe it. The power of that placebo effect, the effect of giving somebody a pill that they think is going to be a healing pill and they think is going to work and they're sure it is. Lo and behold, if there's just a little bit of sugar in it, it can work. So think about the miracles that you want to create. Then you might just find somebody who's already done it. There's a lot of miracles walking around right now on our planet, more than you realize. Let's get them out of the closets, because a lot of people are very frightened to talk about their experiences, to talk about the things that they've been going through. Either ashamed, frightened. The yogis, they used to hide in caves. You've had to go up the Himalayas to go and find them. Come out of your caves. We need you. You healers. You medical workers. There's so much that we can tap into and tune into. So much. And there are so many new things coming. There are new construction materials. Let me tell you some of the things that I'm seeing coming, or the Pleiadians are sharing with me, or the things that I'm tuning into. Some of the good things that I think are coming soon. I think that with Uranus in Taurus, we're going to see a lot of new construction materials, new ways of building houses, properties that will have powerfully healing qualities to them. It's like we will already have that energy in there that is conducive to producing a higher frequency for you right away. So you walk into the place, it'd be like, wow. Not like so many hospitals these days. You walk in and your energy immediately is drained rather than uplifted. So we will have different healing centers. So new technologies, new energy technologies coming on board very soon. Inexpensive ones. There's so much happening with research. It's just not mainstream. So we're going to have to collaborate, communicate, connect, and connect some of these dots together. It doesn't have to go mainstream. We'll do it through our communities. And if you're anything like me, I get so enthusiastic when I find something that works or that's healed somebody or helped somebody. I want to shout it off the rooftops. I want to share it with everybody, everywhere. So that's what we need to start doing. So I think the industries, if you're going to look, many of you are asking me, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing here? What do I do for a career? What do I do for a job? Many of you have lost jobs, haven't got much money coming in. Yeah, we don't know how much more money the governments are going to print till the system fails. We don't know that. That's another subject. I'm not going there at this moment. But the areas that you might want to look at if you're looking for a career or work are food, anything to do with food. If you're in that business in one way or another, that's going to be an important business moving forward. Anything to do with clothing, strong clothing, organic clothing, anything in the housing and construction field, especially if it's these new technologies. Transportation, it's a biggie. Communications, healing. Thank you, Melissa, thank you. Teaching. Anything in the medical field. These are all going to be businesses, areas, education, where there will be a need for skills in those areas. So you might want to look into those areas if you're not sure what to do and how to earn money, look at something that really interests you about what would be needed in our new communities. And they're not going to be like co-ops, and they're not going to be like spiritual ashrams. They're not going to be like anything like those things of the past. Okay, they are going to be very radically different. We are going to be much more connected with the stars and the galaxies and the other beings. There are many other beings out there, and we will be making more connections with them. Some of us already do, but there'll be more and more coming online. We're going to be getting technologies from them and also using technologies from the ancients, bringing back things from past civilizations. That will be coming online as well. So I would just be looking at, what do you love? And if you love some of those things I've mentioned, those are going to be good businesses and areas to get into. I think there's a lot of work happening around how we're going to exchange goods and services and a financial system. And I think that is being reworked. And I think that will come online quite soon. I think it's quite soon. So there's a lot of exciting possible things in the match. Yeah, so we do have a collapse going on. We do have an old thing dying. And good riddance to most of it, I say. And we have something that is not quite formed yet. Yeah, we're planting seeds. But you, each one of you has an individual seed that is not like any other. It's a bit like an apple tree is an apple tree, an apricot's an apricot, an orange is an orange. And just think of the variety and the diversity of what's in you, in your natural, unique sound, before it got all covered up with all the programming. So great, Kim is getting more interested in herbs, making her own medicines. I'm sorry, Kim, if you're a male, I'm not sure. Remedies and skin products. All right, what are you getting interested in? What are the things that you want to do? Yeah, okay. Angie likes her kitties. Maybe you want to get involved with the animals and take care of them, and use them for healing and messages. Yeah. So there are many. There are many possibilities, and just with this Saggy energy, I just want to begin to open your mind to these possibilities, because it's very easy to get sucked back into the whole, the whole stuff. And I'm not suggesting that we ignore it, but I'm just suggesting that we see that it's just a system that is dying. It's on its way out. And we have now, individually, each one of us to go through a metamorphosis. It's for every one of us. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. Each one individually has to go through it yourself. It's no longer, it's not that you can't get help, because you can, and sometimes that's very important and very vital, but the journey of it, you have to undertake it yourself. And it's an adventure in the Sagittarian energy. It's an adventure. It's something you can enjoy, kind of. I mean, not all of the time, I have to confess. Not all of the time. But we can train ourselves. Yeah, we are trainable. Question is, what do we want to train ourselves to do? Entrainment. Entrainment. What are we magnetizing ourselves to? In physics, if you get these iron filings and you throw them, you just chuck them out on a desk. If you've got a magnet under that desk, all those iron filings will form a certain pattern that reflects the magnetic field. So what is the field? What are we putting into that field will reflect what we will then create. There's the field of love. There's a field of joy. That's what I'm realizing now, as I've been doing the channeling all these years, is tuning into the energy of love, or tuning into the energy of joy. And you can feel it washing over you. You can feel, if you really tune in, you can feel that frequency, that vibration. Some of you will be working with sound. Sound is such a powerful healer. You know, songs can rouse people into battle and fighting. Sound can calm people into sleep with a lullaby. Yes, sound is super powerful. And there are so many frequencies of sound that can be utterly life-changing. Maybe you're a linguist, maybe you're going to work with language, translating the languages, the different languages, not only the spoken languages, but other languages that will be coming through with a lot of important information. It's a bit like, you know, we had these other computer languages. There are computer languages, all different. There's the language of astrology. All these are different energy languages. Astrology is an energy language. Tarot is an energy language. Numerology is an energy language. Crystals and stones are an energy language. I'm so grateful to be with you. You have no idea how wonderful it is to be in your presence. I'm so grateful for Lucy, who's doing a terrific job, always helping me. Thank you, Lucy. And Jimmy, who is here helping in the chat. I'm so grateful to those of you who support my channel on Patreon. I'm grateful to you who've contributed here today. I'm grateful for all the beautiful comments. Thank you, Geraldine. Thank you. I'm grateful for all the kindnesses that you do for one another. I'm grateful that you're awakening with me. I feel as though I've still got ways to go, huge way. And that's great. That's part of the adventure, learning all the time. But I'm here to tell you that this is a great time to be alive. And no matter what you're going through, hang in there. Stay in there. Don't give up. You are needed. You are a vital piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Imagine we have the most beautiful jigsaw puzzle and you're leaving your piece out. Don't do that. Contribute your piece. Thank you, thank you. I love you. Bye for now.